Honey, sometimes when you go to sleep, you go on a little walk. And sometimes you talk about a place.
I don't remember.
That's why we're gonna go there. So you can remember.
In the spring of 2006, French filmmaker Christophe Gans brought Silent Hill to theaters and to a broader mainstream. The film was distributed by TriStar Pictures and was made only after years of Gans trying to convince Konami to grant him the rights to make an adaptation. Gans himself was a longtime fan of the series and chose to preserve musical selections from the first Silent Hill scores. The story is a straightforward retelling of the first game's plot with a few changes made, and in spite of receiving mostly mixed reviews from critics, the film went on to become a moderate success at the box office. Meanwhile in Japan, Silent Hill publisher Konami was expanding. Along with names like Nintendo, Capcom, and Square Enix, the company had become one of the largest game developers in the world. Konami had grown into a conglomerate, and was now Konami Holdings Corporation. Konami was enjoying a rather prosperous period in terms of the video games they were developing and publishing. A mix of different genres, new titles, and some familiar IPs made up their growing library that crossed all consoles, with enough variety to entertain audiences all around the world. But aside from video games and arcade cabinets, plus the aforementioned Silent Hill film, Konami was now making slot machines for Japanese pachinko parlors, expanding the trading card game phenomenon known as Yu-Gi-Oh!, and producing several animated features. They now had several offices and branches located all around the world. The video game development branch itself now fell under the Konami Digital Entertainment Company Limited banner, handling all of their flagship IPs, the only exception being Silent Hill. At Capcom, their own survival horror franchise was being fully embraced and had been pushed into new creative highs. Resident Evil, or Biohazard, was enjoying a renaissance of sorts exclusively on Nintendo's GameCube console. In 2002, Capcom had released a remake of the original Resident Evil, with not only vastly improved graphics, but new gameplay mechanics. To this day, it's considered a defining title for the genre, and one of the greatest remakes ever made. This was soon followed by the prequel Resident Evil Zero, which used the same graphical overhaul from the remake, but polished the sound and gameplay, making it another well-received title. The moment had come to move the timeline forward, and no one could anticipate how influential Capcom's next move would be.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
After a very difficult development cycle, Resident Evil 4 was finally released on January 11, 2005 on the GameCube, and eventually would be ported to several other platforms. It was met with very high critical acclaim, and was a commercial success. The game would evolve the franchise into a much more action-oriented format, revolutionizing shooter games with its well-designed third-person over-the-shoulder perspective. This would of course do away with the standard fixed camera angles that had become a staple for horror games. For better or worse, quick-time events would be used to seamlessly blend cutscenes with gameplay. Through a series of quick button prompts, the player would need to correctly execute the commands or die instantly. These changes would reinvigorate the genre and provide a template for a new decade of action and horror games. With the resurgence of horror games, Konami was set to bring back their own horror franchise. With their in-house development team disbanded, they looked to the West to find a new developer. That developer was the UK-based Climax Studios. Like Konami, Climax was going through a period of expansion. After years of developing ports and licensed video games for multiple platforms, the company had become the Climax Group, with several studios dedicated to specific projects. And a studio in North America had opened up just in time to welcome one of the company's most important new licenses. The new project was tentatively called Silent Hill Next, which would bring the psychological horror series to the PlayStation 3, handheld consoles, and mobile devices. Climax Studios Los Angeles would be in charge of the console entries, a task that would prove overwhelming for the growing company. Climax's original pitch for a new console game had a premise that, like Silent Hill 4, would not take place in the town of its namesake. The new setting was the fictional Coyote Flats, Arizona, where many of the Order's cult members had moved to. The protagonist was to be a priest from El Paso, Texas, by the name of Hector Santos. His objective would have been to stop the cult from summoning God and saving his niece Anna, who was to birth this god. The game would feature a third-person over-the-shoulder perspective, vehicles, and religious artifacts as combat weapons. Ultimately, Konami didn't pick up the concept. Silent Hill play novel for the Game Boy Color had already been released in 2001 for Japan, and it was essentially a visual novel with minor player interactions. The game's story would be well received, as it was a superior revision of the original game's plot, but minimal gameplay and a lack of elements from its source assured that the game would never make it outside of Japan. In 2006, developer Game Federation Studio began working on Silent Hill Mobile, or Silent Hill Orphan, a point-and-click game with an original story developed exclusively for mobile phones. The series was successful enough to spawn 2 sequels, but fans were still waiting for the true portable Silent Hill experience. Climax Studios commenced work on the next Silent Hill game for the PlayStation Portable. It was decided that the game should be a prequel that would make use of several characters from the first game before the arrival of Harry Mason. The protagonist was to be a truck driver named Travis, who passes by Silent Hill and gets caught up in the events that would set in motion the plot to the first game. Konami gave the studio free rein to bring a new perspective to the franchise, and Climax Los Angeles decided to make the game a dark comedy, filled with more conventional-looking monsters to fight. Development moved along well enough for the game to have a playable demo for the 2006 Leipzig Games Convention, but failed to really impress anyone. The direction of the game was now being seriously questioned by the Climax headquarters and Konami producer William Orotel. With game designer Sam Barlow as the new creative lead and writer for the project, development was transferred from LA to Portsmouth under Konami's condition that the production would not exceed budget. Sam Barlow scrapped the idea of the game being a dark comedy, and immediately set the tone to be more in line with the traditional Silent Hill titles. He modified the story to have the protagonist tie into the town's history, instead of just being a random passerby, tumbling through the plot and events. Lead artist Neil Williams not only took cues from the original game as source material, but decided to take inspiration from classic horror settings. Vanessa Wells and Elko Vossers worked on reimagining the original cast of characters from the first Silent Hill, and not just de-aging them. Their goal was to make them seem more grounded in realism than previous entries, and make newcomer Travis fit in the cast seamlessly. The creatures would be a mixed lot between new monsters and old familiar designs, both small and large. Returning to the series was the straitjacket creature, and the nurse from the previous games, while new monsters included the cage-bound Mama, the giant Caliban, and an indestructible beast known as the Butcher, who would serve as a recurring threat throughout the game. And finally, the musical team of Akira Yamaoka, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and Joe Ramersa returned to work on the soundtrack to the game, making them the only remaining members of Team Silent. Though initially the game was earning very little attention, expectations were much higher after the release date was pushed back a few months. With the success of the Silent Hill film, Konami and Climax were hoping to have a hit on their hands with their next game, one that would secure the success of the franchise across multiple entertainment platforms for the future. Composer and producer Yamaoka once stated that he didn't believe the psychological horror of Silent Hill could be successfully translated to the limits of portable devices, particularly referencing Sony's PlayStation Portable in that interview. But Konami executives insisted on bringing the series to the handheld. With the possibility of this disconnect in mind, Climax included a message recommending the players to turn off the lights and put on their headphones to be truly immersed. Silent Hill Origins, also known as Silent Hill 0, was released on November 6, 2007 in North America, November 16th in Europe, and December 6th in Japan. The game would be ported to the PlayStation 2 the following year. Travis Grady is a truck driver on his way to the town of Brahms, Maine. A series of strange visions have been flooding his mind in fragments, many of them containing memories from his childhood. These visions seem to intensify upon driving by the small town of Silent Hill.
Oh, fuck. It's smoke. My God.
The haunting apparition of the young girl takes him to a house nearby being ravaged by flames, where he's about to step into the beginnings of a sinister plan.
Someone's in there. Coming with me.
Travis discovers a girl severely burned and is determined to carry her out of the house. And luckily for him, there appears to be a mysterious force helping their escape.
Safe now. Hey! Someone help her! Where is?
They reach the outside, but the nightmare is just beginning, as some familiar sirens invade Travis's head, making him lose consciousness. Travis awakens to find he's somehow been taken to the center of Silent Hill.
Where am I? Silent Hill. What happened last night? That girl. Did she make it? They would have taken her to the hospital. Coons Street. I need to see if she's okay.
He finds the town covered in fog and completely abandoned as he makes his way to the hospital. Unfortunately for him, the first person he comes across doesn't really have the answers he's looking for.
Hey, you a doctor?
Can I help you?
That fire last night. The girl who was burned. Is she here?
A girl? We've received no new patients in the last day or so. Was she hurt?
She was burned all over.
Are you a relative? What did you say her name was?
I don't know her name. I was the one who saved her from the fire. She must have been brought here. Is there another hospital?
I'm sorry. Perhaps someone in reception could help you. I have urgent business to attend to. Goodbye.
There was obviously no one in reception to help Travis find the burn victim. There would, however, be a certain type of nurse who would try to stop him from moving forward.
Yes? You okay? What?
Armed with a sledgehammer, a flashlight, and a portable radio that emits static when danger is near, Travis ventures further into the hospital. The girl reappears to him and helps him discover a unique power that he possesses. Travis has the ability to cross over into the other world, the alternate darker reality that exists parallel to Silent Hill.
You're the girl from the fire. How did you... I'm seeing things. This ain't right.
Travis's path leads him to a room where he confronts the straitjacket monster for the very first time. Upon defeating the creature, Travis finds a strange object with symbols on it as he encounters the girl in the blue dress once more.
You. What was that thing? This isn't happening.
Are you okay?
He awakens at the entrance of the hospital
Sorry, did I startle you?
and finds a new face next to him.
My name is Lisa. I'm a trainee here. Are you waiting for someone?
No, I'm just... Well, I'm done here. Name's Travis. Nice to meet you, Lisa.
You sure you're okay? You look a little shaken up. Sorry.
No, it's okay. To be honest, I've been a little off all day. I was in a fire last night. I think it boiled my brain a little.
The fire in the business district? How awful. I heard about that. No one knows how it got started. And that poor girl, Alessa Gillespie, to die like that.
Alessa? She died?
Yes. Sorry. Did you know her?
No. But... never mind.
Well, I have to run. Dr. Kaufman wants to meet me over at Cedar Grove Sanitarium, and he'll be mad if I'm late. Maybe see you around? Take it easy, Travis.
You too, Lisa.
Travis decides to head back out into the dangerous streets to make his way into the sanitarium. Monsters were now infesting his every turn, as he would also discover that many roads and paths were blocked off. This forces him to take a detour through the town's butcher shop. A faceless threat makes its brutal entrance, but doesn't seem to notice Travis immediately. After traveling to the east side of town, Travis reaches the sanitarium, and upon entering sees a familiar strange lady.
You were at the fire. I saw you there.
Of course you did. That was my house, burning. My daughter, Alessa. You were the one who saved her.
Yeah, she was your daughter? Why did you leave her? Why did no one help? You all left that girl to burn.
So we did. The world is stranger than you think.
You're crazy. What happened to her? Lisa said she was dead.
Alessa is with those who care for her. Do not trust her, Travis. She does not know what she is doing.
How do you know my name? Hey, answer me. They're all crazy.
Although he shrugs it off, it was starting to become clear that Travis did have some connection to these places and the town itself, and he would have to fight his way through the sanitarium to find some answers. Eventually, Travis does find some information through the pre-recorded voice of someone very close to him.
I had to do it.
You had to? Please, help me understand.
That's what you do with pests. That's what you do, isn't it? And he was a pest. Oh, he was a bad boy. Always has been. I tried to pretend he wasn't, but they were there to make sure I didn't forget.
They?
The people in the mirrors. They see it all. what's really going on.
And it was their idea?
Yes. They saw the devil inside of him. I had to kill him. My responsibility. My flesh and blood. I brought him into this world, so I had to take him out of it. Good wombs can bear bad sons, they say. I know you think what I did was wrong.
I just want to understand. Helen.
No! You want to keep me locked up, Doctor. But you can't. I can leave whenever I want. I can step through that mirror and into their world. This world is just a daydream.
Helen?
When will they bring me my boy?
Lisa? You're here too? Can you see all this stuff? Is it all dark for you too?
It's so sad. They can't do anything for her. She just sits there. She wants her boy so badly.
Who are you talking about? Is the girl inside? Alessa? Is Alessa in there?
No! You know who's in there!
Mama? Daddy said you were dead. Are you dead?
I'm not dead. Locked away. Out of sight, out of mind, not dead. I asked them to bring my boy to me.
Mama.
Come here, boy. Let Mama take a look at you.
An eerie vision brings Travis face to face with a twisted version of his deceased mother, Helen Grady.
What's happening here? That thing, it couldn't have been. Are you making this happen? Are you doing this? Wait. No. Don't go. I need to know.
It seems now that Travis was being led by the girl for some unknown reason, but it was starting to become clear that the pyramid-like pieces had something to do with it. He continues to follow her lead and hopes to find his own answers. The next clue left behind was a theater ticket. At the Ardhard Theater, Travis is reunited with the young nurse, who is strangely still quite calm under such strange circumstances.
What are you doing in here, Lisa?
Sorry if I scared you. I thought I was the only one in here.
It's dangerous.
Dangerous? You're kidding. The door was open, so I let myself in. I just love the theater, Travis. I want to be an actress. But Mom was a nurse and her mom was a nurse, so I'm going to be a nurse. I've got what it takes, though. I can't stop thinking about you, Travis. Let's get the hell out of this crazy town. Run off. The two of us. We could be so good together. See? I could be a star!
Yeah.
Well, see you around.
Though it initially appears to be abandoned, Travis soon encounters demons coming to life and attacking him. The stage and the rooms all seem to share the same connections with the other world, now familiar to Travis. He learns that the girl named Alessa used to come to the theater and enjoyed watching the actors rehearse Shakespeare. But she would find herself disturbed whenever one of the actors donned the costume used for the character of Caliban.
You need these, don't you? Not again. Riverside Motel. I think I've been there before.
With somewhat of a familiar feeling, Travis proceeds to the hotel. As soon as he enters, repressed memories of his father begin to return to him. Exploring the hotel eventually takes him between the fog world and the rusted dark otherworld counterpart, with more creatures attacking him down every corridor. Eventually, he's led to face the monster he saw earlier, the Butcher. Travis also stumbles upon the discovery of a private encounter between the doctor and the nurse.
Lisa?
Travis.
You have a habit of popping up where you're not wanted, Mr. Grady. Isn't it time you left town?
I can't.
Try harder.
Upon finally reaching the final area of the Riverside Hotel, he comes to room 500, and he's met with the remnants of his father's fate.
Daddy. Wake up. Please, Daddy.
I'm not sleeping, son.
Daddy.
You knew I wasn't sleeping. Why did you stand there for so long? It wasn't right.
Please, Daddy.
It wasn't healthy, son.
Daddy, this is insane.
Time you faced up to what happened. Your mother and I will see you in heaven, son.
The memory of Richard Grady manifests itself as a beast, and Travis must overcome this physical manifestation of a nightmare.
How is this even possible? Dad, how could he do that to himself? Why won't you let me forget? Why are you doing this to me? Come out! Come out! I've got your thing for you. Happy? You've dug up my parents. What now? When do we get to look inside your sick little mind? This isn't right. This is the last one.
Travis has now managed to collect all of these cryptic pieces, which begin to react once they are all put together.
You're here? Wait!
What have you done? You broke the spell. Now, she is free.
I just want to end this. I thought that's what she wanted too. I want out. Can you help me?
You want out? Ha ha! Far too late for that. Even with your misguided help, she can't stop us now. The ceremony begins soon. Finally, she will birth God! Here she comes. Look upon what you have wrought!
The girl seems to have been freed, and her powers restored. Travis decides to pursue the mysterious girl one final time, into what we now know as nowhere. Travis comes across the town's cult known as the Order, performing a ritual of some sort on the body of the bird girl, who, despite all odds and what Travis had been told,
She's really worked you over, hasn't she?
is still alive.
I'm surprised to see you. We had assumed you'd just leave. Well, time to put her pawn to sleep. Good night.
Unwillingly, Travis had been helping the girl in her attempt to be freed from the machinations of the cult led by her mother and Dr. Michael Kaufman.
She's here! We need to begin this now!
Don't worry, Dahlia. With him out of the way, she has no conduit for her power.
Mama? Mama? What is it?
Don't touch!
Ow, it's hot!
Leave it be. It is a cage for a demon. Contained? His power will focus yours. Release him, and we will all burn in the fires of hell!
As an offering to their red god, the Order brings Travis before the savage creature. This was Travis Grady's final trial. predicted by Dahlia Gillespie, the completed artifact known as the Flowers had the power to trap demons, and the nightmare was sealed within. This in turn would also amplify Alessa's powers to accomplish one last miracle. Travis now finds himself not only free to leave the town of Silent Hill, but also free from the haunting memories of his past. He catches one last glimpse of the mysterious girl as he leaves, who is now carrying an infant. This would, of course, be the same infant that would be discovered and adopted later by a couple who would go by the names of Jody and Harry Mason.
I don't believe it. Harry, it's a baby.
It's a girl. Go on. Hold her.
Cheryl. We'll call her Cheryl.
The game has an alternate bad ending. Go on a killing spree during your journey, and Travis himself is considered to be a butcher of innocence, as the Order keeps him trapped for their own cause. The game also features the return of the UFO ending, with the aliens and Mira, the Shiba Inu dog, from the previous spoof endings. Silent Hill Origins received originally favorable reviews upon release, despite it being considered fairly short and not straying much from the formula set by its predecessors. The game was considered successful in bringing the basic elements of the psychological horror series to the portable format. The ability to use a vast amount of items as weapons was viewed as a highlight, although the fact that they were all breakable seemed to cause more of an annoyance. The QuickTime prompts during combat were deemed well executed. Critics also commended the way the story integrated several plot points that would lead up to the very first Silent Hill story. The battle system, on the other hand, would still be considered clumsy despite it being completely overhauled from the original controls. Overall, Origins is considered to be a competent enough portable Silent Hill adventure, but with nothing new or innovative to offer to the series and make it unique. This was a mistake that Climax Studios definitely would not make again the next time they would return to the foggy town.
I am the key. I hold the answers. I am the answer.
In our next episode, we'll visit the neighboring town of Shepherd's Glen and learn more about the history of the notorious cult we know as the Order.